Hey there, pumpkin friends. Chad here in the greenhouse. Today is April the 3rd. I've got some stuff on the ground. Let's talk about that stuff on the ground. Thanks for suffering through that intro. I appreciate it very much. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. It's right down there. Hit the like button, hit the little bell so you get a text message or a notification of some sort whenever I post a video. Or not, you won't hurt my feelings. Go to Ron Wallace's website, wallacewow.com, for a lot of your giant pumpkin needs. Ron is a great guy, great company. Not sponsored, I just like Ron. So, we got the irrigation lines all done. I've been watering heavily in preparation excuse me, for the shocking or the peroxiding or the sterilization of my soil. The secondary aspect of that is I'm just pressure testing the system. I don't even know. I've probably thrown down, I would say close to 1,000, 1,500 gallons of water over the past 2 days. I cut out of work a little early today to work on this, but in doing so, I've noticed I thought I had all the leaks. If you see like that orange thing right there, that's a coupler, and I thought I cut out all of the little cuts and nicks in the water line that I'm reusing. And I can see I have like 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a couple of little small leaks I need to fix. But in realizing that, it brought me to a stopping point so we can talk about this right here. So this is the weed fabric that I talked about that I'm going to use. A lot of people had questions about the weed fabric. Why am I using the weed fabric? What does the weed fabric do? Won't that inhibit root growth, etc., etc., etc.? Let's answer those questions. So there's a few different reasons that I am going with the weed fabric this year. Number one, it's in the name. It's weed fabric. Hopefully with this, it will minimize the amount of day-to-day maintenance that I have in the pumpkin patch, allowing me to focus on the things that are really, really, really important, like specifically vine burying, making sure that I'm optimizing my water as well as, excuse me, as well as my fertilizers, my pesticides, my fungicides, things like that. So not having to weed as much will greatly help with that. I'm going to be cutting holes in the weed fabric where the nodes or where the leaves are. So there still will be weeds that pop up where I slice that, and probably the soil that I bury the vine with will have some sort of weed seeds in it. So I'm not going to be totally devoid of weeds, but it will help significantly lessen the amount of weeds that I have. The other aspect of it, the other reason that I'm doing it, is for plant health. By keeping the plant off of the soil, by not covering everything up with the soil, I'm going to be increasing the airflow. I'm going to just keep the disease off of the plants. Long story short, I think that especially the last few years, had I have had healthy plants at the end, I would have had 2,000-pound pumpkins. So what I need to do is do everything I can to keep my plants healthy. The weed fabric is just going to enhance the, the better job I'm going to do with my fungicides, my bug spray, and all that stuff. It's just one more layer of protection to provide the plant better disease control. And then one of the other ancillary reasons that I'm going with the weed fabric and that I think will help is I think this will keep the greenhouse a little bit cooler, and it will also keep the biology of the soil happy because it's all covered up a little bit. Well, not even a little bit, it's just all covered up. So the worms will be able to worm underneath there, the bacteria, the fungi, like everything's going to be happy underneath that. So if we're thinking like in nature and in biology, just in general, it's the Mother Earth is covered. So, wood chips or leaves or pine needles or whatever, it's always covered. When we have you know, areas like this, it's not so natural. It's not what the biology wants. And one thing that I'm kind of taking away from all the interviews we've been doing with top tier growers is just kind of how important biology is. So, you know, all of those reasons kind of factor into why I'm doing the weed fabric this year. So that's the why. Let's look at the weed fabric a little bit closer. The weed fabric that I'm using, I got from greenhousemegastore.com. I got it on Black Friday. So this is a 15-foot by, I think about 200-foot roll. It's very heavy. Having somebody to help you roll it out, at least the first few rolls, would be a good idea, but it can be done with one person. This is just kind of the stuff that like sandbags are made out of, or a higher quality plastic. It's woven. So what I'll probably end up doing is getting my my torch out here and fraying that, or melting the fray, so it doesn't just unravel. But this wasn't too expensive on Black Friday. I think it was maybe $300-400. Guys like Ben McMillan, I want to say even maybe Jacob, they use like a higher quality version of this, which I think is great. You can't, overdo it. I mean, come on now. Are we really talking about overdoing something? But maybe this will be just fine, because that stuff, especially with inflation, is real expensive. And this is in large part going to be, I'm almost positive, a one and done type of product. I really didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on it. Yeah, so I'm leaving my valves exposed. I'll be able to manage the weeds in here. And then I'm leaving the ends, the caps of the drip tape exposed. So I have a clear, defined path that if I want to, I can just pull the weeds right here. I can spray them with weed killer or something. And that should be a very manageable amount of uncovered earth for me to deal with. What I'll do now is maybe I'll just throw it on time-lapse mode. I got the tripod over there. I'll get this squared away. Kids will be home pretty soon, so I'll try and knock out at least half of it, maybe all of it, and call it good. So it's time to get back to work. And maybe an hour and a half or something, dinner was thrown in there later, we have our weed fabric. It looks really good. I'm really happy with how it transpired. This first one's a little wrinkly, but whatever. The good thing about the greenhouse in pertaining to the weed fabric is that I don't have to worry too much about it like blowing away. You can see I covered up the sides, and I put a little shovel full of dirt here and there to just kind of hold it down. If I put like staples in it, the soil's so loose that there's nothing to staple into. Or I could do sandbags, I suppose, but that's just more work for myself. And I don't want that. So there we go. The greenhouse in large part is done. I got the irrigation done, weed fabric's done, soil warming cables are in, they're warming. I've got my extension cords where they need to go, the hoses where they need to go. I've got 200 gallons of water in the tank. I'll probably end this video and then like do a short one on mixing up the bleach, the peroxide solution. I'm gonna do it as I am, even though I shouldn't, but I'm gonna be careful, and I've got glasses on, so yeah. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Comment below if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.